Ready?
As ready as I'm going to be, Coach.
Yeah, it's about that time. Let's see what we have. Let's roll it.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. Insights.
Yeah.
Two I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.
All right. Now, there go the
Let's
legend
go.
here. Rick Brown, formerly of the Lakeland Letter, a Pulitzer Prize winner, Emmy Award winning, a man with all the plans, takes it out of his left hand and he's right-handed, but he just on top of everything like that. We got an interesting, fast-paced show today. Rick, what is
Coach.
it? What is it? What's going on? What's going on?
I've decided to see the light, Coach. I decided to see the light. It's
What's that?
March Madness, baby. I can't get over it.
Hey, we always say, for us, probably Devin too, favorite time of the year is that basketball season. Man, and the thing is, it's not just the whole March Madness, but that first weekend when it's like 4 games going on sometimes, and you trying to figure out. I tell you, I got a TV with a picture in picture. They don't even make them picture in picture, but they got picture in picture. Then I got another TV here, and you're trying to keep up with the game. And all of a sudden, you see it's a good game. You don't know nothing about nobody playing, but it's a good game, and you go over to it. Man, heroes are made that first weekend.
Wow, and you said it, Coach. I mean, I figured out with this that YouTube TV, that I could have four TVs. I mean, 4 games up at the same time, and I was like, "Ooh, oh my goodness!" The kids were mad. My grandbaby came down this weekend with my oldest son. They were mad because I stayed in one spot and was just watching the main TV, and I was like, "Well, y'all can come over here with me, but I ain't leaving this screen because it was ah those first 4 days."
Man, when I saw YouTube TV had that thing going with 4 streams showing at once, I said, if you were ever undecided, if you were going to switch to YouTube TV, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. That was it right then. I was like, but I've been trying to get my house, or at least my wife, to go overseas. She likes to direct TV. We've been on there for 20 years. The only reason we're on direct TV is because they had the Sunday NFL ticket. And I got to watch my Browns. But they've lost the Sunday NFL ticket. No, when I told them I'm getting ready to disconnect, oh, they like to had a fit. You've been a long-standing customer, and we could take this off your bill. And you already took what I wanted off my bill. You took the other off. My wife was acting like she was old school and she couldn't figure out the different remote controls. But when we go visit my children, none of them have. They all cut the cord. They're like, nah, Dad, we ain't paying off. I don't have a daughter that got cable or any of that. They all streaming, right? So I watched her figure out how to use the streamer with like 18 remote controls, and she figured out how to get to what she wanted to get to. I said,
Uh-oh.
uh-huh.
It's coming.
It's over with now. You know, as a married man, you married man. At certain
Yeah.
battles, you don't fight. So when I saw her do that,
It's time.
So my additional 5 sticks got delivered in the mail today. I said, you might as well get used to it. We got that thing figured out now, Rick. I'm telling you. But you know, we love this time. You know, we do a family bracket. You know, we do a family thing, and everybody puts in 1 or 2 brackets. It's just interesting. They put all these brackets in there. I'm the only one paying the winner, but then I got one daughter. She gonna file a protest on the other daughter. Now, how you file a protest? Devin knows. She got sisters. They got y'all have battles going on. We don't even know what the heck the battle's about. You know, we like, are y'all serious? And then they got them private jokes because everybody got the family thread where ain't nobody else on there but the family. And they just be going on and off on something. And that's just the family thread I'm included in. The daughters and the mama got their own family thread that I'm sure they talk about me. I'm the main topic on that family thread. That's why I ain't in that family thread. But they got their own stuff going. Everybody know. Everybody know. So it's just interesting. But the doggone brackets got busted. I mean, they got blown up early. And see, I just my dream, still a dream. I wanted to be that first black college team to make it to the Sweet 16. And I remember Dr. Humphreys. He would get a recruit in his office. He said, son, just imagine you going to a school that is for you. It's your school. That's what Florida A&M is. You representing your own people. You win a championship for your own people. You go to the tournament with your own cheerleaders, with your own coaching staff, with your own fans, with your own band sitting there playing for you. And every game you win is for your people everywhere. And man, them kids would get chill bumps. You know, just the thought of it. And the notoriety you get, we always watch those first round games because, you know, them the games we always had. The 16 seed, as we discussed last week, when FAMU went and we played as a 16 team, we played Duke. And there wasn't no playing game then because they figured there was a playing game one year we went when I was assistant with Coach Booker, and then I saw the record book after. They didn't even count that as going to the NCAA.
Oh, wow.
So they do all kind of stuff. Now, the record books will change later because Gillespie went and won that first round in the playing game, and they said we had a win in the NCAA tournament, so they changed the records. But it's just funny how people try to rewrite history. You know, people try to rewrite history. Hey, I see you, Sports Diva.
Hey.
Our regular Sports Diva, she be on it here. She be on it. We appreciate you, Sports Diva. You know, so it's just really, really kind of interesting. But in our staying with, you know, we kind of doing our thing a little bit with the Women's History Month, and we've had some really, really great guests. I mean, we're getting comments about them all the time. I mean, we opened up with Sarah Hill, the first women's athletic director at Florida A&M. We had Chelsea Johnson on. You know, we had Devan Moore on. Chelsea talked about the prayer group that she started and all of that. And, you know, that's been going very, very well for her. We had Dr. Littles was on one of my basketball teams. She's now a principal in Minnesota, a pastor, and a PhD. And we're going to talk a little bit about the things that she's accomplished because I don't think that you can talk enough about the successes of some of these young ladies who've grown up and matured, and almost all of them at some point were athletes. And the moral of what we're trying to tell a lot of our listeners and viewers is never shortchange the dream of your children, your sons or your daughters. You know, never pigeonhole them into what you think they may be. Allow them, encourage them, nurture them, and show them how to be what it is they desire to be.
Preach.
God speaks to you. He speaks to them. He ain't got to speak to mom and daddy. He's speaking to them and showing them what he wants them to do. Don't be that person that's blocking it. Be there to support them. These young ladies have been very, very, very successful. So with us, we're going to have Dr. Devan Moore. See, you know, you always got a backstory. Always got a backstory. And see, Devan's family, Devan's dad, particularly, we tell people all the time, we met in Publix. We'd be in Publix after work. So me with my 3 daughters, him with his. And after a while, we kept seeing each other so much, we started speaking to each other. Because we were there trying to find what we were going to take to eat that evening. So we ended up becoming real, real close. And all 3 of his daughters ended up being, 2 out of 3 ended up being athletes. All 3 of mine ended up being an athlete at some degree. The baby girl, Devan, she ended up playing with us. Now, she could shoot the ball now. She could shoot it now. You get in a spot, let her shoot a jump shot. Now, don't have her do a whole lot of other things because she's trying to get her spot to shoot now. She want to let that thing go. And she could. And I remember one time we were on a road trip. She said, Coach, I'm enjoying this road trip. She said, how long we going to stay? I said, till we lose. If you want to stay, you better keep winning. Because if you lose, we get in the bus, headed to the house. We going back.
Right there.
Right there, right there. But she has a history in music. She's a lot like her dad, and her family is musically inclined. So if she get the bad musical gene from her mom or her dad, she's still doing all right because the bad gene is better than the average person. So she's still doing good. And her dad is a big contributor with insights that helped us get started. All the original music you hear in the background is from Netmo Productions. He gives you some really, really good stuff. Might take him a while to get it to you, but he gives you some really, really good stuff. And he's not the real voice in the family. His wife is the one who carries him along singing. But that's a story for another day. And I don't know if she's a second or third doctor in the family. She was pushing to get that PhD in there before her dad got it because she was motivating him. He said, man, I got to get quicker. I've got to get my stuff before my baby get hers. Dr. Devan Moore from Oklahoma State, assistant band director.
Wow.
Welcome home and welcome to Insights. How are you, Devan?
I'm doing all right. Thank y'all for having me.
Welcome.
Always a pleasure to have a Moore in the house. And to have you, wow. We're so proud of you and your accomplishments and the things that you've done. Devan, just see, Devan and I and her dad were having a discussion about me not knowing where they were. So wow, she getting shout outs already. you know that person right there that's shouting out to you?
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm glad to know they watch it in. We appreciate it. We know they always have that support. But we'd like for you to tell us a little bit how, I know music has kind of been in your family a little bit. Tell us a little about how, that became such an important, integral part of what you've done.
I was just thinking about this. I just wrapped up my first season as the director of the pep band for our winter sports. So for our basketball teams and wrestling teams, it's been really crazy. Being the daughter of a band director, all of us were gonna play an instrument. we're gonna try one. So all 3 of us started playing piano at a young age. Sequoia picked up trumpet when she got in middle school. Micaiah picked up flute. I picked up saxophone, and I was decent at it. And so I kept going through all of middle school, all of high school. You know, my parents, they never pushed me to go into it. It was just something that, you know, kind of came naturally. I mean, understandably so. I was around it all the time. Got through high school, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to FAMU, and I'm not gonna go to FAMU and not be in the marching band, because that's crazy. So I did that. Never thought that I'd be pursuing music as a profession. I was going to be an engineer, a computer engineer. I was like, yep, you can't pay me enough to do what my daddy does. Nope. And then there was one day, my freshman year, I had some struggles in some of my engineering classes, and I was like, this might not be the path I'm supposed to be on. My man raised no fool, and when you see signs, it's time to get out. It's time to get out. But I ran from it for an entire year. I ran from this calling of music education for an entire year. My entire freshman year, I was doing band stuff all the time. In the fall, I was doing the marching band. I made the top concert band, the wind ensemble at FAMU. We were practicing 7 days a week, twice a day, and I didn't hate it. And I remember Dr. White came up to me one day and said, "Devin, why aren't you a music major?" I don't do the best Dr. White impression, but you know, he basically said, "You're not supposed to be, whatever you studying right now, that's not what you're supposed to be doing." And I eventually gave in and changed my major to music education. My grades went up. Life got easier. I flew through the rest of my courses, and I got out and started working. And I've been in love, and I haven't worked a day. I haven't worked a day since I changed my major, because I've just been doing what I love. And so yeah, now I find myself here at teaching college after teaching 7 years in middle school band, and I'm having the time of my life. I truly am.
Wow, that's an inspirational story. So you actually, when people get their calling, getting your calling isn't always necessary. Well, God told you kind of what your calling was, and you said your grades went up immediately.
Immediately, I was on that first year was rough. I was on the verge of not doing so, being a not great student, and some things. I got some letters, some warnings that said, "Hey, you better straight up and fly right, or you're not gonna get out of here." And I struggled with that change, because I you know, at the time I was like, this just comes too easy for this to be a career path. And I was, in hindsight, I'm like, duh. Why we got to make things hard? Mm-hmm. And I really struggled, because I just knew I wanted to be a computer engineer, and I wanted to go make six figures. And you know, I had this whole idea in my head, and I thought it was going to be a cop out for me to go to the thing that's easy for me. And that's not the case at all. This is where I was supposed to be. This is where God was calling me to be for the rest of my life. And I'm so grateful that I had parents that supported that change. I hear horror stories of some people I went to high school with, where their parents expected them to go and be this and go and be that and go and be that. And my parents never had that. They said, "Devin, we want you to be happy. We want you to be successful, and we want to support you in whatever that is going to be. So you tell us what you need." And I'm so grateful that I had that in that moment, that they didn't make me feel bad about not wanting to go the more rigorous route and go do what I needed to be doing.
And so you ended up being like your dad in the Marching 100, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I marched 5 seasons in the band. Best time of my life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've gotten to work with 3 different college bands at this point, and I'm glad I had the experience that I had in undergrad. I would not change it for the world.
Yeah, those Marching 100 alumni, they're pretty strong, and they have really represented themselves very well. And just going on to preparing for this show, I ran across something that was just recently released. You may have seen it, but if not, I want you to see it.
Years ago, a the great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that my children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
The motto of the band embraces the objectives and goals of highest quality and character, achievement in academics, attainment in leadership, dedication to service, perfection in musicianship, and precision in marching. Viewed from another mold or key, one could translate this and conclude that these ingredients are for all successful persons. The late Benjamin Mays, former president of Morehouse College, sounded an alarm and wake-up call to college students when he aptly said, and I quote, "It must be borne in mind that the tragedy in life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach. It is not a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideal, but it is a disaster to have no ideal to capture. It is not a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for," unquote. So when you begin to feel stale, give yourself a swift kick in the pants before someone else does it for you. We all need change. It shakes you up, gives you a new look for things, and keeps you alive. It can be a change of in-look and out-look, a change of reading habits, change of social activities, a change of food, a change of jobs, but change. Change in growth and our change in living. After 50 years of teaching bands, I am still changing.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Wow.
Surprise. And speaking of the legends, and again from the Marching 100, you know, the Moore family, the head of the family there, Mrs. Pamela Moore, the queen of the castle, and the guy that she brings along with her to try to embellish him, so I'm needing every bit of help she can give him. All right. Well, about your illustrious lookalike daughter. And I know she said some really, really positive things about her family. But where I want to go right now is just a little bit about, Devin, what did that mean to you to see what you just saw in the way the 100 is what they did?
You know, anytime I see the Marching 100, I'm filled with a sense of pride, because there's just a level of excellence that, you know, comes with wearing that uniform. There's so many lessons that I learned just putting that uniform on, and what the expectation was every time I had it on, and anytime I thought about performing with that ensemble. I am fortunate to be a part of a long-standing legacy of incredible musicians and humans that some of them I get to call friends. Some of them I'm blessed to have learned from. I'm blessed to still have to continue to be in relationship with some folks from the people I march with, and we're family. There are a number of people that I can call on from my time in that group, that they would drop everything that they're doing to make sure I had whatever I needed. And it's bigger than music. It's bigger than bigger than 100. I every time I see any iteration of the March 100, I'm proud, and I'm glad that I got to stand on the previous members' shoulders, and that I can be the shoulders that somebody else is standing on now.
I can feel and see the emotion in you as you talk about it. And Arnett, what are you feeling right now?
It's hard for me to not feel pride when I think of Devan's accomplishments, and of course, you know the story behind all of them, and all of the girls are really doing some fantabulous things. So Pam and I are extremely elated to kind of see the kind of accomplishments that Devan is making. I tell you, she said it, and we say it all the time. Devan is having the time of her life, and when she expressed the fact that she's not working, she hasn't worked a day in her life. That's really, to me, that's the epitome of success, in your children, to see them doing what they love to do and doing it at what can be considered a very high level. So without question, there's a lot that we're extremely proud, extremely proud. And I think she knows that.
Pam, Queen Pam.
Well, I think I echo what Annette says about the sense of pride in seeing my daughter doing the things that she's doing and making the kind of impact that she's making. She's trailblazing in some areas, and thinking back on her dissertation, even she is literally living out what her dissertation was about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so it's very exciting for me to see her being successful, but also being impactful. I think that's what's really, really bringing a whole different level of pride for me. Seeing that she's not, and like she said, teaching and education is not, you're not in it for the money because it's not the highest paid profession that you can go in.
Mm-hmm.
But when she can do what she does every day and love what she's doing every day, that makes mama happy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
One thing we know for sure, mama happy, then the house can be all right. But if mama ain't happy, woo, Jesus, it's a different place to exist. Devan, tell us a little bit. You've gone from, you say you've been at 3 different university bands. Tell us some of the things that you really feel proud of that you've done out there in Oklahoma State.
So, having the experience that I had at FAMU in the March 100 is absolutely incredible. One of the things that I think makes me unique is that, I've got that HBCU experience, but I went through a PWI for my master's and my PhD. So I have a different perspective on, what it means, what it is to be in a college marching band, and what that means to your audience, what that means to be in that ensemble. And now I'm out here in Oklahoma, which is worlds away from what I knew. But the principles never change. Like we want to impact whatever environment we're in a positive manner, whether that be a football game, basketball game, a president's inauguration, graduation, whatever it is. And so that's my mission out here is, just make sure that we're engaging with whoever we're in front of in a positive manner. One of the things that I really enjoy, what I really enjoyed about being here, I'm the director of the pep band, and this university is so embedded in this community, where in some other communities, like some of the things that I've done would have been strange. Like it wouldn't have been a college band to do these things, but I've been able to get into the community and touch some of the high school students, because I believe we only have one high school in Stillwater that I know of, that I've heard of anyway. And so one of the things that I'm really proud of, we brought the high school band to one of the basketball games. They got to experience Big 12 basketball. We were playing Kansas State. It's OSU versus Kansas State men's game. The middle of conference season, every game matters, and they were in that environment, in that super electric environment, and we're just having a good time. And if we're having a good time, they're gonna have the people that's watching us gonna have a good time. And that's why I say I don't go to work, because like I get paid to go to sporting events and play music.
That's cool.
That's the bulk of my job for the semester. So, and being out here, being able to meet new faces, new band directors, and be able to experience new things with all these, everything's just new out here. But I am my father's child. I don't meet a stranger. And so I love working with kids. If I can find a way to get in somebody's band room, I'm gonna do it. If I can find a way to help somebody's program grow, I'm gonna do it. And so that's been one of the fun things about being out here. It's just so much new. It's almost it was overwhelming at one point, but when you settle in and just realize, hey, you're just doing what you've been doing. It's just in a different place. That's all it is.
Let me ask you something. As a former athlete, explain to us a little bit the discipline that you took from being in athletic competition and preparation and all of that, and how you took some of that for your music career and actually coaching your team, your pep band team and your band.
So there's so many parallels between athletics and the band world, especially in the athletic band world. While I was teaching back in Florida, there was an article that came out where I said music is a team sport. It's the only sport where everybody gets to start. Everybody gets to be in the game at all times, and everybody's contribution matters to the overall outcome. On a basketball team, you got five players from my team, and on those 5 people can contribute at any given time. In my world, everybody has to be accountable. Every single human that's under my tutelage has to be accountable for what they're supposed to be doing at every given moment. So that takes a level of focus, that takes a level of discipline to know I got to be on my stuff. So I don't let my section member down. I don't let the rest of the band down. I don't let my band director down. And for me, I go to practice. I go to my rehearsals the same way you would come to practice with a game plan and saying, we're gonna start with this drill, then we're going to this drill, then we're going to this drill, and then we're gonna run this. We're gonna learn this play, and then we're gonna run this play. We're gonna sell these people in, and we're gonna learn this play. I do the same thing. I go to every rehearsal prepared for every little detail, as many details as I possibly can, and I look for the places where my students could potentially have a downfall, and I figure out a solution to that pitfall before it happens. And I prepare myself so that I can make them as successful as possible.
Wow, that's really good there. Now, I want y'all to stay with us, ladies and gentlemen, because we have some information. We'll talk about the Black Five. 5 blacks, they call them Black Five, and the World National Championship they won. And then we got an update on TCC men's basketball team that's playing in the national tournament. We got that coming up for you. But we are not through here with Devan Moore and family. Rick, anything you need to ask?
No, the parallel between coaching and teaching, they are just like that. And I was amazed at your answer, and it was gratifying to hear, and how much that you've accepted this responsibility or your calling, as you say, and we're proud of that. Congratulations, and keep going.
Thank you.
Arnett, Pam, anything you like to say to the baby girl? Oh, he deferred. Look at it.
Well, I'm going to give you the option to kind of jump in here because
Rick, you see how he deferred all suave?
Yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that.
you know.
Devin, my baby don't stand a chance. I told her, I said, the more I got to know her daddy, I said, I apologize for the times I used to fuss with. I said, I just hugged her and said, genetics. Just genetics. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say one thing that Devin has always said is that she would always look out, and we can probably count on one hand the performances or basketball games that we've missed that she was a part of. And so I'm just so thankful that even in her profession and at the level that she's operating in right now, we still get to have her look out and see our faces in the audience. We can't always be in the room where it's happening, but we can still be in the place due to technology. I think we haven't missed a concert or a game that if it was on TV or if it was live streamed, we were there. And so we always want to be a support to Devin because we're very proud of what she's doing. And we want her to know that we have her back.
One of the things that we opened this with was don't take your baby's dream from them. Encourage them, support them. And what we have actually is an example of a family that stayed together, supports each other through thick and thin, or always have that strong branch you could lean on for support. And she started in engineering, and there's always a class. Anybody who's ever been to college knows there's always a class that makes people change their major. It's always one. And Devin realized real early, this isn't quite going the way I want it to. And the next thing that's hard for you when you change your major is to tell your parents because you don't ever know how they're going to take it. And the Moore family's always been together like that. And we talk about God's plan. We say all the time, this relationship between Arnett and Mickey started in Publix. And I mean, who'd have thunk that one? It's been, at least 30 years now, and he's been an integral part of what we do here on INSiiGHTS. Our families are very, very close. My daughter learned how to ride a bicycle because she had Devin's bicycle. And then Arnett came to get the bicycle. I had to go buy one then because she had learned how to ride Devin's, and Devin wanted her bicycle back. And my wife was like, what you gonna do now? I said, guess I'm gonna go buy a bicycle.
Guess you gonna go buy a bike.
She learned on Devin's bike. So the families have just been that close all the time. And so, Devin, we are extremely proud of you. You and your sisters, each one of them can do their own story. I mean, and one of the things that we really, really like to highlight is families and our families and how important it is to stay together and help each other and support each other. You're gonna argue and fight sometimes. That's just how it go. And y'all will have some things you discuss that daddy don't even know. Mama might know, but daddy don't know. I got a friend, and it's a mutual friend. His wife will say, well, I'm such and such happy with your kids, and you're not supposed to know. He said, well, don't tell me then. I ain't supposed to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. If I ain't supposed to know, don't tell me. But we just love it, and we just really, really, really very, very proud of you and your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to share your story with us. I'm sure as you continue on to your successes and things that you're doing, we will continue to follow you and probably have to have you back on again. But Devan, we wish you good luck from INSiiGHTS, of which your dad is a major contributor to what we do. I know you hear his music and everything else on there, and his singing in the background and different things. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Good luck out there in Oklahoma State. Not now. I gotta have to watch them to see if they show my band, see if my band director.
Well, we just basketball season is officially over. Our men just lost last night, a tough one to UNT in the NIT, and I was up in Indiana. That's one of the things I've been enjoying the most is being able to go into these different universities and their arenas. It's been crazy. I went to Indiana University last week. You know, just in the middle of March Madness. I'm in the gym with a number 1 seed. It's tough. We lost in the first round, but just to be in that atmosphere, high school Devan was going nuts.
Oh, I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a promo we got to run. Devan, you always welcome to stay. Arnett too. But we'd like to have you back. But hey, we got a discussion to everybody about the Black Fives and that TCC men's basketball. You want to see what we got coming next. Thank y'all. Stay with us.
That was pretty cool, Coach.
We gotta get in the golf cart to go find where the ball went to. That's how Rick hit it. Oh man, back for TCC for his second year. Man, he came out the gate last year. He only won 21 games. I mean, he came out the gate. He only won 21 games.
In his first year.
Yeah, in his first year, he only won 21 games. You know, he returned 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", 6'7".
Earlier interview.
I'm like, doggone, boy, where you getting all these guys from? Got to look on the roster. You got one from Belgium or somewhere. He went across the water and got him. You know, when you Rick Cabrera, you could get him like that. You can get him like that. Oh, man, and without further ado, we want to bring the other Rick Cabrera. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, family? How you guys doing?
What's happening, Rick? What's going on, man?
I can't call it, man. Thanks for having me, man. I always look forward to this time talking with you guys.
Man, we appreciate you being on, and you see you see how he was. He didn't even say, you know, you kind of pumped me up a little bit. He knew it was the truth. See,
hey.
He knew it was the truth.
No, I get a little embarrassed, man. I don't know what to say about that, but I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it.
Listen, Rick, he hit it so far, man. I was trying to walk around and see where the doggone ball went. He talking about, man, I ain't get that one good. I said, any better, you'd have been on hole 5. We hit on
Oh, my God.
I said, hey. You just stop.
Rick, from an earlier show, TCC men's basketball team in the Nationals. They're in the Nationals right now. And
I don't know. We just gotta stay together and keep chopping wood every day. You know, like they don't like me right now, but they appreciate what I bring to the table to help them get better.
Coach, I've been a head coach before. I know how that goes.
You know, right.
But Coach, do me a favor. Give me a little bit more detail when you talk about your guys. Give us their names so we know who to look for. And what we find is that a lot of times people follow a team because they get to know the players.
Right.
So they go out to see how
Rick Brown shot another brick. He done shot 5 bricks. He ain't gonna get the rim. He got 3 turnovers. Why coach still playing him? Right. Tell some
Man. And he proceeded to talk about some guys that aren't the ones that have been raised in hell. Let me explain to you now. They won their first game against Trinidad State, first round of the tournament, 78-75. They were down 18 points and came back and won the game. They had a guy named Malachi Davis, went for 31. He was 4 of 6 from 3. Jaquavian Florence came off the bench, hit 17, 4 of 5 from 3. He has a guy named Tom Mark who had 16 starters. They just played today. The game just finished to look right before we went on. The game went to overtime. They beat Salt Lake 94-93 in overtime and advanced to the quarterfinals tomorrow at 7 o'clock against Dodge City. The team they just beat finished as national runners-up last year. Malachi Davis, who had 31 in the opening round, had 48 today. He had 48.
Whoa.
John Florence off the bench had 22 off the bench. Had 22 now. Both of them combined for 12 for 22 from threes. They shot the lights out. Congratulations to Coach Rick Cabrera and TCC men's basketball team. They are on a roll. Tomorrow they're on at 7 o'clock. Sports Diva says TCC doing some things. Yes, they are. They are on tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You can go to the junior college site. You can see the game. It's live streaming. Just like the video we just did with the Marching 100. It's up there, Black History by the Marching 100. It's not ours. It's completely theirs. Just came out yesterday, so you can hear it real clear. It's, again, a talented group of individuals, but the talent that is in this greater area here is just outstanding. And I don't think that there are enough accolades go around for the Marching 100 as their graduates continue to make a difference in the world. And TCC on a national stage rep the 850. I mean, they're rolling pretty good. I mean, I think their record right now is 30-5.
Anytime you get to the quarters of the national tournament, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. But we knew, you saw it last year, Coach. There was something about Rick that gave you that confidence, that gave you that he knew what he was going to do, that he knew that we knew that he knew what he was doing, and he was going to have success eventually. I didn't expect it to be this quickly, though. In the second year, he's there and doing big things. And what I like is they're winning close games. That means they came from behind. You said 18 points the first game?
18.
And now they won in overtime. They don't care. It doesn't matter. They're playing the whole game. They have a shot then.
They absolutely got a shot, and they're rolling pretty good, and they got guys that shooting those jumpers. 12 for 22 from 3-point range. Yeah, that's lighting it up pretty good. That's lighting it up pretty good.
48 points.
Off a 31-point performance the opening night. Off a 31-point performance the opening night. I mean, we tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to follow Insights. We try to bring all the local stuff to you so you'll know what's going on. And I love even the beginning when you hear Rick on. he said, "Hello, fam. Hello, family. What's up?" I mean, and Rick is just one of the guys. He's going to be very successful with what he does. And he also said that he had to start from scratch. He wasn't going to be held hostage. I knew what that meant. I mean, he had to start that team over because there were some guys who act like they didn't want to listen to what he was telling them to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he was saying. And so Sports Diva say, INSiiGHTS family support TCC basketball. And one of the things that we try to do is let people know about the programs and the teams early, so that this is not the first time that you heard about them when they're in the national tournament. You know,
What we don't ride the bandwagon? We're not bandwagoners. Is that we're bringing it to them first? Is this what you're saying, Coach?
well, you know, you can read. You can read between them. You know, he's just a really, really good guy. Let's see how long TCC keeps him, because he's going to be a hot commodity.
Yes. Yes.
He's showing how, you know, he's a no nonsense guy. He can get talent. He can get guys in there. So one of the guys, he was saying that he had NBA scouts calling about him. So you have that kind of thing going on. But Coach, Rick, we talked a little bit about the Black Fives. What you got for me about them?
Coach, there's different. We talk about a lot of levels, and there's levels to this thing here, man. The Black Fives, for those who don't know, the Black Fives were not just one team, but it was an organization, basically. Not all right. When you think of pre NBA, 1904, there was nothing for blacks to play basketball. They couldn't play with the whites. Integration was there, so teams started having their club teams, and it started usually in the big cities: New York, DC, Chicago, and it progressed and progressed, and then they formed from club teams. They became professionals. And one team that is famous for the Black Fives they were called the New York Renaissance, but we know them as the Harlem Wrens. This team was the first black owned all black professional team, and it was formed in 1923. And coach, from the time they were formed to 48, they won 83% of their games, playing mostly all white teams. Awesome. But when I say there's levels to the Wrens, Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, the famous baseball player, the first black who played baseball, played in an LA version of the Black Fives. Played with the Los Angeles, let me get it, Red Devils. Paul Robeson played for a team in New York. Cumberland Posey of Pittsburgh, who was enshrined to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, also was enshrined into the Baseball Hall of Fame. The Fives came at a time where they gave blacks a place to go, to socialize, a place to party. They used to broadcast it or advertise it as basketball and dancing, because after the basketball games, they would have dancer. They would just dance, ballroom dance, and party. It was a big social event. It was a social event. People, when they would migrate from the South, they needed places to go. This was a place to migrate and collaborate. And the teams, coach, there were 35 men and women's teams who played under the Black Fives. And the individual stories of the teams, it was almost more than just basketball, coach. It was they were playing for a purpose, whether it was um, fitness and health, or to promote women's athletics. Period. They all seem to have a purpose, and all of the teams that fall under the Black Five umbrella have their own individual stories, and it's amazing. And big shout out to Claude Johnson, who started the Black Fives Foundation, who wrote a book and has gotten the NBA involved a little bit, and to try to teach the history of of what blacks did pre NBA, because blacks didn't go into the NBA until 1950, and the NBL was in the late 40s, I think 47. So the Black Fives span from '04 to the mid to late 40s, and the stories after stories is amazing. It is amazing.
Wow, that's a good piece of research you did there, because I had March 17th. It was the 80-year anniversary of the Washington Bears,
Mm-hmm.
who won the
Mm-hmm.
5th annual World Championship of professional basketball at Chicago Stadium by defeating the Oshkosh All-Stars in the final. The All-Black squad won $1,500 in prize money, the winner's share of the $15,000 total pot. For the All-Stars, an all-white team, second place was worth $1,000 in winnings. And far more valuable was the right to call themselves world champions. They said it was the third time in 5 tries that an African-American team had won the world title. In 1939, the New York Wrens had won, and in 1940, the Harlem Globetrotters was big. There's also a site they have, the Black Fives on Instagram. Y'all go on there and follow them.
A lot of history.
It's some interesting stuff on there. It really is.
It's a lot of history.
Yes. And you enlightened me to a lot of it. I had something before about the championships, and it clicked when you said something about the dances that they had. That I had somebody had sent me some information. Clayton Smith, one of the gentlemen who helped us start INSiiGHTS, was one of my original guys on. Reads everything. He's like Mr. Wikipedia, and so he forwarded a link to me about it. And I was like, Rick, have you heard of this? And you're like, Coach, let me find out. And I appreciate that enthusiasm to research it and find out about it. That's what we try to do. I mean, we have to continue to capture history and don't let it get rewritten, washed away, washed under. That we need to stay abreast of, regardless of what the government might say or try to do. This is historical information that people need to know and recognize.
That's right.
How did it make you feel doing some of the research you did on it? I know that's kind of your thing, Rick. I know that's the reporter in you comes out a lot with that.
My goodness, Coach, I'm telling you, I'm going to have to do more, because I want to know more about the teams and the players, and not just the ones I named because they're famous and all, but one of the women's teams I read about, the Philadelphia Steppers. uh, the manager of the team, who was a woman, broke a deal with the newspaper there who sponsored them, and so she changed the name to the Philadelphia Tribune, the Tribunes, and they were getting paid during the Depression. And she did a heck of a marketing job, which just debunked the idea that women couldn't do marketing, couldn't do sports marketing during that time. It, Stories like that fascinate me, and I think it would fascinate the audience too. It, and each team had a story like that, and I was just like, Too much information, too much. I can't combine it all in. I need 3 show, 4 show, 5 shows to do. It's find it. YouTube probably. I know there's a foundation, the Black Fives Foundation, on the internet. They have a book. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Well, you see, sports people want to know how many were Kappas. Boy, they
I didn't mention KA sign this one. No, not this time. But I'm sure. But since you brought it up, that'll be my next mission to find how many Kappas played. Thank you for that idea.
yeah, sports people at work again. Rick,
There
Black
it goes.
Five sounds to me like an Insights magazine special you might want to work on.
All right, let's do this.
That it's a lot of interesting information, and I know that a lot of times, even with the things that Insights does, is we're educating the masses, but we're also educating ourselves. It's
Amen. Yes.
one of those things that we find something, as Devin says, that you really like doing, and I don't care how overwhelmed it seems with what we're doing. Sometimes we kind of enjoy it. I mean, even backdrops that we do, that we're trying to figure out the green light and all of that. Various MicknRick backgrounds that we use, and we'll mess around and see an idea and say, man, how can I create that? And the people who contact us about doing graphics for them, and so it's just something that we continue to do. We have an interesting story that we did on Claflin Athletic Show about their sponsor, Tony Thomas, who was a football player at Texas A&M and is one of the few minority car dealers. And he talks about how he rose through the ranks and the things that he had to learn, and the low percentage of minority Black car dealership owners in the country. And he says that when you say minority, that does not include just Black.
Right.
That's minority, which is an inclusive term. So when you go up there and you see the Claflin Athletic Show with Tony Thomas, part 1, because that interview was so interesting that we ended up doing 2. We had to break it in half to do a second part to it. And there's some things in the community with the Easter egg hunt that he has, and we've been extended an invitation to cover it, and had gotten some information from the Orangeburg County Sheriff that wanted to look into us a little bit more, and we're excited about some of the things that we do and that we bring. So, that brand continues to grow and becoming a lot more prevalent in that South Carolina area. So don't be surprised if we end up doing some high school football games up there this year. But it just continues to grow. And you on Roku. The other question I'm getting is saying they can't find you on Roku. And said, well, on your Roku channel, go to search. Type in INSiiGHTS.
2 I's in the middle.
GHTS. It comes right up. And then click on it, add it to your favorite channels, and it's there. Whenever you open it up, it'll be right there. Insights is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our programming continues to improve and continue to change. And we're having people that are calling and asking us how can they do commercials on there, because they say that everybody sees these commercials. I said, yeah, everybody sees them. So they've been contacting us about doing that. So we really do appreciate the support that we're getting. So go to Insights. If you have a Roku channel, just a favor for us, just go to the channel, download Insights. If you only watch it every now and then, download it. The more downloads we get, it's like clicking like on your YouTube channel. What happens is the logarithm says it's complex mathematics involved with it. And based on who clicks it and how many clicks you get, how many thumbs up you get, it shows up on other people that you may know. It shows up on their thread because they say, oh, Rick Brown liked this. You might like it. So it'll show up on, and that's how things grow in terms of the number of followers and people you get from that. So we appreciate that. Subscribe to us. hit the like button, put the insights. I mean, we had a person I went to with our CPAP machine, and when he heard we were on Roku, he said, "I got Roku on in 2 offices right now." And so he said, "Show me how to download it." So I showed him. He put insights on, so it's been running 24/7 when they're at work in 2 offices. The Roku channel is showing insights, and so it's just one of those things, and we appreciate y'all. I mean, and there's some interesting things up there for Sunday Faith TV, you know, in the morning, you know. So it's different things up there. And Claflin started off with a time on Thursday, and they now expanded to all day Thursday. All this up there Thursday is Claflin shows. We must have 14, 15 Claflin shows. So Claflin University is the only school in the CIAA with their own weekly show. And it's on the Roku channel. And what you want to do is to be different. Don't follow the path that everybody else does. Follow your own. Thank you, Dr. Devan Moore. Rick.
Coach.
We had a field-packed weekend. I mean, a field-packed show today with all the things that are going on. And I knew that we would have a really good guest. The things about TCC came to me about 6:15. So I was rushing, trying to get it on as I get ready to, you know, send a congratulatory text to our brother Rick Cabrera, you know, wishing him good luck and to do what he could do and say repping 850. And we appreciate all of you. And we appreciate Rick with all the backgrounds he's created. So you see him everywhere. He don't mess around. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick, anything you need to say or want to say?
Thank you for joining us, folks. The madness continues this week. Check it out or don't, but make sure you check back here because we're going to give you something that you don't know, and that's for sure.
That's for sure. Sometimes we don't know it.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of...
Hey, y'all, what's up? Y'all get ready to leave. I need you to go on down there and hit the subscribe and the like button. Yeah. We appreciate that. Hit. No. Don't get no attitude. Just do that and hit the subscribe, hit the like, write a comment. Tell us something about the show. Tell us something about what we said. Now, hold up. I might not like what you say, but I'm for sure gonna read it and comment. And some of it we even use in the next shows. There you go down there, hit that button. That's right, there you go. We appreciate that. Appreciate it. That's how INSiiGHTS grows. We all support each other. Don't do that. Don't get pissed off. Go on and take one more sip of that beer. Yeah, sports fans, that's what we do. We appreciate you. That's it. We appreciate you a lot. INSiiGHTS appreciate you. Both me and Rick from MicknRick INSiiGHTS Sports TV. We appreciate you.
Oh, you did say, drink the beer. Oh, man. Sorry.
I will see you next week. Hey, do